Hello, we're just going to give it a couple of minutes for people to continue joining the live Q&A. I know it was quite the virtual journey to get here from the pre-recorded panel. So we'll give everyone just a couple of minutes. I just want to remind you that if you have any questions, please put them into the chat window below or to the right, depending upon how you formatted your Zoom screen. And I will make sure that they get answered by these fabulous panelists. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We do have a new face today with us. We'd like to welcome Donna Ruff to the live Q&A. She was unavailable for our pre-recorded session. So we're going to start by introducing her. Donna, if you could introduce yourself, where you work, and a little bit about your company, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm Donna Ruff. I'm with MUFG Union Bank. I am the Supplier Diversity and Development Manager. I've been in supplier diversity for about 15 years and sourcing and procurement prior to that. I've been very, very fortunate to work with Union Bank for almost 3 years now. My prior life, I actually created the supplier diversity program for the small company that I worked for, and worked alongside of business development. So when I say that I have been on the same side of the table as many of the businesses here, trust me, I do understand what it takes to find that networking opportunity, find the decision makers within the organizations of which you want to do business with, and how hard it is to get those contracts. And I am here to do whatever I can to help you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to working with everyone.
Thanks, Donna. Is there anything you want to share about Union Bank and any of the services or practices that you provide to small businesses?
Absolutely. So with the Supplier Diversity and Development Program, we actually have technical assistance to our small businesses. I work very hard to advocate internally for opportunities for businesses within the organization in diverse companies. I also work alongside of our prime suppliers to help engage and afford opportunities for small diverse businesses as well. We have a corporate social responsibility plan that we adhere to and we are committed to in making sure that we engage with as many diverse suppliers within our network as possible. And as a result, we are able to have internal business matchmaking. We're able to have our corporate readiness program. And we are able to really have a lot of opportunities and participate with organizations such as the Asian Business Association and making sure that you know that we are available and here for you. We also have some business banking solutions in our business diversity lending program. Union Bank is one of the only banks that is able to relax some of the credit criteria for women-owned, minority-owned, and veteran-owned companies in helping you get loans. So I can connect you with your local business banker. Just give me a shout.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. We do have a couple of questions within the chat window. The first one is for you, Damien. And the question is, what's your favorite restaurant? A real tough one.
My favorite restaurant is, well, I've got two right now. So I've got one in Dana Point called Maison, which is a little cafe in a strip center, but she is passionate about her food and passionate about service. And I absolutely love going there. And then Din Tai Fung at South Coast Plaza is the other one that I can't get enough of.
I love that. That is a fantastic answer. I think for two reasons. First, I can't wait for us to be able to go to lunch together once it's safe after the pandemic ends, since, you know, we're colleagues and haven't caught up in a while. And I think the second reason is, you know, listen to his answer, right? It's about the service and the passion around the business. So no matter how small you are here on Small Business Development Day, caring about what you do, having the grit to succeed, can make you have loyal customers and continue to come back to the service. So we encourage you guys to try those restaurants. It would be fabulous. The second question here, and this is really for all, is what are the best practices for small business owners to build business credit so that we can have access to capital with your bank? Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Let's start with you.
So When it comes to small businesses, we really want to make sure that you are keeping your personal finances and your business finances separate, especially for sole proprietors. The minute you open that business, you all need to open a business account so that we can start seeing, the income and the outgo of your business. Keeping good records and having a good bookkeeper or accountant. One of the things that I constantly try to emphasize among small business owners is if you are not good with the business side of running your business, and when I mean the business side, the accounting, the payroll, the lease negotiation, contracts, all of that, then you need to hire somebody or engage somebody who is. Most small businesses fail because they can't operate or don't understand how to operate the business side of their business. And so having a good bookkeeper, keeping good records, paying on time is one of the key elements for a newer business that is starting up. Engaging, new credit, making sure it's paid on time, and then keeping good records will help in the long run as far as getting credit from a bank. For established businesses, ones that have been around for a while, I encourage you to look at credit when you don't need it. Right? Most small businesses come to the bank when they have exhausted all of their personal and business finances and deposits, and then come to the bank. When you're doing well is when to establish a line of credit. When making, if you have the opportunity, if you're looking at making large purchases, you want to make sure that you're not doing that on your line of credit. If you're buying equipment, you're doing tenant improvements, anything long term you want to do on a term loan, and then keep your quick payable within a year on your line of credit. So paying on time, keeping good records, and making sure that you are establishing that relationship with the bank when you don't need credit.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Donna, is there anything that you would add from Union Bank's perspective?
Absolutely. I want to absolutely piggyback on what Mark is saying. Your relationship with your banker is so key. You want to ask those questions and want to know, does the bank know what it is that you do? You probably know better what the bank offers you than they know what to offer you, because they don't know your business. Have they visited your business? When was the last time you actually had a discussion with your banker to talk about your business plan? Do they know what your future goals are? Does your bank have a supplier diversity program, and can you be introduced to that supplier diversity person? Are they able to invite you to different events, like the galas, and where you can actually network and sit at their tables? They have the ability to do that. Your bankers have that. Not only your bankers and your supplier diversity managers for those banks offer that. You want to ask what free small business workshops are available to you, educational scholarships. Union Bank, and I'm sure all of the banks here, provide educational scholarships for entrepreneurs. So those are all things, and most oftentimes they're at very little cost, if any. Most often they are free, and these are great opportunities and areas for improvement and growing your companies.
I love that. Damian, anything you'd add?
No, I'd agree with, in support, everything Mark and Donna said exactly. I do think it comes down to two things, and Donna just mentioned it. You have to find a good banker within a bank that's dedicated to small business. I think US Bank and the others represented here are that. When you get with a good banker, they understand all the credit and what takes place at the bank. So when they can connect with your business, understand your business, and sort of put the two together, that's where the magic happens. And quite frankly, it all starts with your financials. And that's where I would just emphasize. It's about the banker understanding your business, but then really having those financials on point from a quarterly and annual basis. And then the other sort of tidbit I would say is when you find that good banker and you start reviewing your financials and telling them where you want to go, I want a $250,000 line of credit by the end of next year, whatever the case might be. Connect them with your CPA. So now all three of you working together to get to that goal. And that's a lot of times what it takes.
Mm-hmm. I love that all of you are focusing on relationship-driven banking financial conversations and less about the transactional nature of filing for a loan or having, specific application processes, right? It's about let's find the goal and let's all work together for it. So I think that that's an important piece to highlight. We have another question related to ensuring that you keep your financials separate, right? To Mark's piece of advice there. And they're wondering if if a company can have multiple business checking accounts, and if that's a good practice or a bad practice to have. Is there any insight? I'll open that one up to the group to talk about.
I can weigh in on that simply because I am a business owner. So, 8 years ago, I purchased one of my clients with my partner, and so we've operated a small business for the last 8 years. And we actually have multiple business accounts because we do wires to purchase furniture from overseas. So we have a wire account that dollars go out. We have a credit card account where dollars come in from our credit card sales, and then we have a general checking account. So yes, the answer is, depending on the way your business operates, you may have multiple checking and savings accounts for your business. You may have a zero balance account. You may have a payroll account. This is where you want to develop a relationship with a banker to understand how your business works and operates, and then to suggest the proper types of accounts.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark. I also see a note in our chat box here thanking you for your service and asking if we can all go to Hawaii with you. So something to consider.
I got my second shot today and I'm ready to fly.
There you go. All right, we've got time for 2 questions before we switch to a break and then for our fast pitch competition. So the first one is, and I think that this is a great way to give some insight to all of your financial institutions. We do have a consulting company here, and they are looking to switch banks because they don't feel like they're getting the current services that they're looking for, or maybe the relationship. And their question is, how do you think I should select a bank, and how are you better than your competitors? They're in the consulting business without a brick and mortar office, which is certainly kind of a trend here in the pandemic, isn't it? So I'm going to give each of you guys just a couple of minutes to talk about your financial institution and what you think distinguishes you. I'm going to start with Damien this time.
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, it's all, like I said, it always comes down to your relationship with the banker. That's really key with finding a banker that you connect with and you feel is adding value to you. In regards to U.S. Bank, there's a couple of things that stand out for us. We are a very financially sound and strong bank from that perspective. We've been named one of the most ethical companies, not ethical banks, the most ethical companies in the country. So we're very proud of that. So there's those types of things that I think add value. But the other thing that I would focus in on, I think, is that we're dedicated to small business. It's the backbone and a huge part of U.S. Bank. So we have every resource and tool available to you. We also are one of the largest SBA lenders, which is a really key lending tool as it relates to getting small businesses up and going and helping them grow. So we really understand that product really well as well. And then we're really dedicated to our communities. We're really dedicated to serving all businesses, especially minority-owned businesses right now. We have been and will continue to be focused in that area. So I would say those are just a couple of really general highlights. And then the other thing would just be the last thing I'd leave you with is our investment into digital. The way everything is being done now is how do we serve the customer better, faster, and providing them what they need when they need it. And so our support and commitment to the digital aspect of how you interact with your bank, we do a really good job there and are only continuing to get better in that area. So that would be my little pitch.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you said there, Damien, especially as it's important, right, for an office without a brick and mortar area, right, to be able to utilize some of our digital services. And I completely agree that U.S. Bank is invested in small businesses, right? Like I've never been a banker per se. I've never done transactions. I'm a lawyer turned accidental banker, I guess. And there has never been any question about devoting time and resources to this and gathering the troops at US Bank to make Small Business Development Day happen. So thank you for that. And we certainly appreciate our partners, and that's what I also appreciate about US Bank, right? There's an emphasis to get other banks on the panel and working with the ABAOC, and that's because the mission is more important than just a name. And that's where I really appreciate you, Mark, and you, Donna. And so I'd like to give you guys an opportunity to talk about your financial institutions as well. I'm going to go with Donna first, and then we'll close out on Mark. If there are additional questions within the chat that we did not have an opportunity to answer, we will save them, and we will make sure that all context information is dispersed. So as you make a decision on what financial institution you'd be interested in working with, you've got our information here. So Donna, take it away.
Absolutely. So thank you. I have to agree with Damien. I think it all goes back to the relationship that you want to have with your banker and them understanding what your goals are. You know, as we talk about a lot of the different avenues on banking and especially with Union Bank, we have a question that goes around. Frank Robinson actually asked, he asked businesses, are you self-employed or are you an entrepreneur? And what he means by that is being self-employed or entrepreneur, are you able to leave your business for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months and not have to worry about what's going on, you know, when you get back? Or are you having to schedule that very little time to take off and enjoy your family or just relaxation and knowing that you have to get back to your business? You're basically self-employed. It's almost like you're no different than an employee of another business, right? Whereas an entrepreneur can leave his business and know that it's running well and it's running for itself. So those are the kind of questions that you want to ask yourself and ask your banker. How can they help you get to that level? You know, how can they actually help you get to all of the goals that you're asking, that you're wanting to reach, and move from there? We offer quite a bit of different opportunities here. We actually just built our small business specialists, and we have brought on 60 new small business specialists to focus specifically on small businesses and growing those businesses. They are available and ready to have those conversations with you. I am happy to introduce you to whoever your local banker is and that team. Just reach out to me. I'll put my information in the chat so you guys can have that, and I will get you that direct introduction to them and make sure that they are at least answering the questions that you need to help you make a decision on your banking needs.
Thank you so much, Donna. And Mark, close us out before we go to our next portion of today's agenda.
Well, City National Bank is a 65-year-old bank that started here in Los Angeles, and it has expanded nationwide. 4 years ago, we were bought by Royal Bank of Canada, but we still operate like a wholly owned subsidiary and a small bank. Our relationship managers are encouraged to engage with their clients and become partners in their business, to understand what is going on with their business, and to provide the services and the solutions for, at least on the banking side, the investment side, the real estate side, to help these businesses grow. You know, we operate as a relationship bank. We assign a relationship manager to each of our clients. But what I would encourage you, if you're looking for a new bank, and what I find very funny about banking is, you know, most businesses bank with the bank that was in their building when they started their business, and they never changed, right? And regardless of how they were treated. And so we understand that it's difficult to make a change in a banking relationship. Interview the bank, right? This is a good opportunity for you to engage with a relationship manager, somebody that you will be dealing with on a regular basis. Interview the bank to determine whether or not they meet your needs. You know, none of us have a magical banking product that the other one doesn't have, but what we do have, you know, is if you need a, you know, on the corner branch bank because you have a lot of change, you know, you're going to need a bank that's close by. But if you're completely virtual, you just need a bank that's going to be able to respond to you when you need them. Right? And so I would interview different bankers and find one that you feel good about, you know, that you feel confident in working with.
I love that. That is a perfect answer. And I think interviewing your bank or banker is a great way for us to end this, right? I can't speak for every financial institution, but I would be happy to do business with anyone who's been on this panel today because it's really about the relationship. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. The ABAOC and US Bank appreciate your time, and we look forward to the next part of the panel. So I'm going to go ahead and end this Q&A, and we'll go to the next event. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.